beautiful day.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Panita.
Hi, I'm Daniel.
Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Well, actually, I know somewhat about car maintenance, but for the eco-friendly car, I don't know that much. So far, I've repaired gasoline cars, but as the trends are shifting to electric vehicles, I'm a bit nervous, I gotta say.
That's natural, but don't worry. I'm going to explain everything in detail. This course consists of 10 sessions. The first session is about the basics of eco-friendly vehicles. The second and third sessions will deal with electrified vehicles. The fourth session will discuss hybrid electric vehicles. In the fifth one, we'll learn about high voltage. And in the sixth session, we'll talk about a vehicle using high voltage.
Okay.
The seventh and eighth sessions will be related to understanding a high voltage system, and that, Punita, will help you with the maintenance of an eco-friendly vehicle. And the final two, the ninth and 10th sessions, will review personal protective equipment and the procedures for safe maintenance of eco-friendly vehicles.
You know what? I went to a dealership once to buy a car, and there were all these different types of EVs. You know, got HEVs, BEVs, and so many different more. What's the difference?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so many different types of electrified vehicles, and each brand uses a different manufacturing method. Okay, so let's make it simple. Hybrid electric vehicles, HEVs. They're powered by a gasoline engine, but they have an electric motor and a battery for auxiliary power.
Okay.
Plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, PHEVs, have an engine, a motor, and a bigger battery as auxiliary power. And we have a battery electric vehicle, BEVs, and that has a motor and a big battery without an engine and transmission. And there is a fuel cell electric vehicle that uses a chemical reaction of hydrogen.
I'm Panita.
Hi, I'm Daniel.
You know, when I think about the term electric vehicles, it sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's because the words electricity and vehicle, we use them every day. So they're pretty familiar.
But if you talk about how EVs are so different from the internal combustion engine vehicles, that's when it can get kind of confusing. It's a little more difficult to understand.
Yeah, you're right about that too. And that is why I am here.
And I want to first tell you about my first experience with an EV. Well, when I drove it for the first time, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but you kind of feel this jolt. You know, it was launching you forward, and I thought it was unfamiliar because it was like riding a roller coaster. Do I put my hands up? But there was no shift in gear, so it made it even stranger.
Perfectly normal sensation to experience that sort of jolt when you're driving an EV for the very first time.
Yeah, but also when I was driving at a high speed, the energy consumption went up as well, and that also was quite surprising.
Yeah, but that also totally normal, and I can tell you why. It's because unlike the internal combustion engine vehicles, EVs, no transmission.
None.
None, no transmission.
Not even a small one.
Punita, there's no transmission.
All right, no transmission. I mean, how does it work then?
Good question. Vehicle motors run on a three-phase alternating current, also known as AC. The alternating current makes a wave, and that creates a magnetic force. There's a north pole, and the other one on the end is the south pole. And if that magnetic force circulates repeatedly, a magnet inside will also rotate.
So according I've also heard that EVs use both DC and AC. Why is that so complicated?
Not as complicated as it sounds. DC stands for direct current, and AC stands for alternating current. This is a rechargeable battery which uses the DC. Here's the positive sign, and here's the negative sign.
Right.
Now imagine an electrical outlet on the wall.
There's no sign.
That's right.
I don't think I've seen one.
That's because the outlet you see in the wall is alternating current, or AC.
Okay. So then EVs, do they use the AC or the DC? Oh, it's not coming out. Is it just me? Did I break it? I don't know if this is working or not. Oh my gosh, am I breaking it? Am I doing it right?
The connector cannot be detached while it's charging, And that's to prevent, somebody from coming by and stealing the cable or removing it and charging their own car instead. You need to unlock the car first before you remove the charge connector from the port. Comes right out.
That makes sense. Oh, that's so great.
So let's start with this. This is the smallest pouch cell. And the device to manage these cells is the CMU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that. 6 cells come together to form this battery module.
Correct.
And this is called the battery module assembly, the BMA.
You're acing the test.
All right.
4 battery modules, like you said, one black box is one module, and 4 modules come together and they form a battery pack, which is called a battery pack assembly or a BPA.
Okay, 4 BMAs form 1 BPA.
Yes, and the BMU is the device that manages the whole thing. And all of these parts are collectively called the BSA, which stands for Battery System Assembly.
Okay, so the entire thing, this whole chunk, the BSA.
Exactly.
All right, I think I know a little bit about these batteries now.
We're getting somewhere, right?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Panita.
And I'm Daniel.
What do we have here?
Can you guess what the most important thing in the maintenance of EV vehicles that use high voltage electricity is?
Oh, I'm gonna say there's 3 things, okay? There's safety, don't forget safety.
Right, and right. So this time, we'll look at the various personal protective equipment for high voltage isolation that you wear while doing maintenance work.
I gotta say, there's a lot of stuff here. I can't say that I've tried everything, but I did replace my light bulb in my living room with some rubber gloves one time. Pat my shoulder on the back.
Yeah, your parents must be proud.
All right. Well, are there any other precautions that we have to take?
Of course there are.
Always.
Yes, after you have put on your personal protective equipment, there are a few pre-checks you need to perform before you start work. Okay, every time you wear gloves or other equipment, first you need to make sure that there's no punctures, tears, any kind of damage.
Okay.
This is how you do it.
Well, show me. Oh, okay. No punctures. Looks good to me.
You seem good.
And then we're gonna need a tool. And this tool is gonna help us remove the cover that is protecting the high voltage cable. So let's go ahead and remove this cover first.
So do we detach the battery now?
Not quite yet. Before we get to that, we have to measure the voltage remaining inside here using another tool, multi-tester. It's basically a voltage meter, and this will measure the voltage inside to make sure that it's below 30 volts.
Looks a bit difficult to check the discharge because the capacitor is hidden inside somewhere here.
You're absolutely right, but I'll ask you to hold this for just a sec and I'll explain how this works.
So what do we do now?
You can remove the top cover by simply removing the 6 bolts in the center. And you can remove all the remaining bolts by using the tool like this. And then we can take off the cover like this and finally see what's inside.
Oh, wow, it has everything that we learned about so far, all the bits and pieces, it's all here. I hope so, and I think I've got the basics pretty good so far.
Yeah, and the mechanics who are watching this video, they can also say that they've taken a step forward to becoming an expert in electric vehicles.
Yeah, I can say so for myself as well. I mean, from the beginning, I didn't know what the difference was between an EV and a hybrid. But now look at me. I know the ins and outs of this car.
You actually really do. All right, well, thank you very much for watching all 10 episodes with us.
Thank you again for joining us on this journey.